Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. I'm doing a garden walkthrough thing today. I had hoped that I would be showing you all of my beautiful spring seedlings. It's the end of August here. My golly, today is a hot day, I'd say it's hot. And anyway, so we're just totally not worried about the fact that it's technically still winter, definitely into spring. Anyway, I was hoping this is what I'd show you, but it's not. I show you a lot of destruction from possums, and actually I'm filming this like a couple of days after I had filmed the rest of the video and done the voiceover and whatever, and I wonder if maybe there's rats or something as well as the possums. I'm not really sure, but anyway, unfortunately I show you a lot of destruction in my garden, but a lot of seedlings as well, and I've been re-potting these things up and redoing things and working on some. Oh, that's what I forgot to buy today. Oh well. Does that happen to anyone else? You do your groceries, you've got a list, there's always still something you forget, or is that just me? I always forget something. Anyway, we'll just have to go back and get it maybe tomorrow. Yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, even though it can be a bit depressing at times with all the things that have died and been dug up. But I hope that in a few weeks I'll be able to show you just a quick update again, and things will have recovered and will be growing. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, etc. Definitely leave me a comment, tell me what you're growing in your garden at the moment. I would love to hear about it. Thanks guys. Okay, so let's start at the bottom of our back steps here. We've got a banana tree to the right there, and then a couple of other bits and pieces on the ground. I've got snow peas running up this side of the archway, and really I planted these over winter when they should have been really good and worked really well, but they really haven't fruited very much at all. And I planted regular peas on the other side, and they also did not fruit very well. They just completely died off, and I think there just wasn't enough sun in this position during winter, so they're kind of kicking off a little bit now that it's spring. But yeah, we've just might have to end up pulling all those out. This is the garden bed along the back steps. You can see that I've got sunflowers that I'm just sort of seeing if they will go to seed or not, and a few different things. We definitely have a bit of a possum problem, I think, at the moment. So I've got comfrey there, parsley, some dandelions, and a lot of those things have recently been ripped out and I've had to replant them. You can see in this raised bed as well, I have a big hole from a possum. I think it's a possum. I don't have much to go off, so I'm thinking that this is probably what it is. You can see that they're eating the lettuce leaves and different stuff like this, and then also sort of digging holes. I don't know, maybe they can smell stuff down there. I don't really know, but it's very annoying. In this other raised bed, I have these beautiful yellow cherry tomatoes going up, and I've purposely pruned this vine in such a way so it can produce more fruit. You can see here the radishes and carrots that I had down the bottom have been completely nibbled again by what I think is probably a possum. They were all really bushy like those ones at the back, and yeah, now they're not, so that's a bit disappointing. The other reason I think it's a possum is because sometimes our dog goes crazy in the night and barking and barking and barking, and I think that she's chasing something away. So I've got this big basil here. It is so beautiful and fragrant, and what I'm doing is just lopping off all of the flowers that are growing on there so that it can continue to bush out, because I have suffered such a huge loss over the last week with all of my seedlings. I'm feeling particularly protective of the plants that are doing well, like this basil. It's a bit eaten by grasshoppers, as this happens with basil. But I also feel like it's really good when you just need some for a pasta, or even, it's quite a big bush, so if you wanted to make a pesto out of it, you could also do that. The tomatoes that are in this raised bed have done really, really well. You can see that they're still fruiting and still have flowers and things on them, and they did this all through winter. It was just like a really random plant that came up. Got eggplant there leaning against that as well. It's looking a bit sad, but I just, actually that one doesn't have any flowers on it, so it could be at the end. But the eggplant has done really well over winter as well, and we've got quite a few little eggplants from it. So I'm just picking off some of those bottom leaves from the tomato, and this is supposedly meant to encourage them to fruit more. And also, while it doesn't have fruit on it, sorry, I sort of couldn't see in the camera as I was doing this, I try to weave it through there. So this is all about compost bins. We've got these two that spin. They are a little bit difficult to get the compost out of, but they do the job. This is my main one. It needs to just be turned over, but it's getting pretty close to being done. You can see here another casualty from the possums, probably. Had some really nice bigger tomatoes growing there, and you can see that they're on the floor. Over on the right of this garden, all these little seedlings popped up, and so they, I think, are cucumbers that are like volunteers. There were lots of flowers on that eggplant, more really random volunteer seedlings that I have no idea what they are, so I'm just leaving those. This was a bunch of celery at the back, and that's all been eaten. This is a very depressing garden video because a lot of it has been eaten. This next section, the first section under the shade cloth, is my sort of sweet potato section. So I had sweet potatoes at the other end of this garden bed, got a really great harvest from them. Then a few of the little immature roots that hadn't formed into proper sweet potatoes yet, I just replanted all of them in this section, and they seem to be like establishing really well, so I'm happy with that. This, I think, was a sprouting broccoli, and I really think it just probably has been eaten too much by grasshoppers and caterpillars, that I most likely won't ever get anything off of it. But again, I'm a bit, happy to just leave it there. Oh look, there's a caterpillar that I found. I'm going to squish that little bugger. So if you don't want to see its guts, turn away. Here it goes. Oh, yuck. Oh, gosh. It's taken me a really long time to be at a point where I can actually squish those with my fingers. But, it is like the best organic method of killing, grubs and things like that. So, yeah, it's pretty gross though. This is a loganberry. It's doing pretty well. It was a bit on the edge for a while, but it's looking good, and I've made a little teepee for it to go up. This is lemon balm, which the little grasshoppers, so the grasshoppers that I'm talking about are like little tiny green ones. These are the grasshoppers that we have here. And yeah, they really love this, but there's a lot of new growth underneath for the lemon balm, so I'm just going to leave it for now, and probably need to just harvest some of the lemon balm so I've done something with it. This is my kale, also very loved by the caterpillars and grasshoppers, mostly grasshoppers I think actually, on the kale, strangely enough. So I have stripped a lot of it back, and this has got a lot of new growth happening in it, so that's really good. I just check that really regularly. Whoop, drop the camera. So these are just Snapdragon flowers at the front here. They've done really well. They obviously like this position because they've been in there. These are one of the first flowers that we bought for this garden, and they're still going and they're getting bigger. So what I'm doing is just deadheading the flowers so that they continue to grow and produce more flowers. Snapdragons are not only a very pretty flower, you can see there that's all dead, I'm just ripping it off. They're not only a pretty flower, but they're obviously fairly easy to grow if I can grow them. And the kids love to play with them because I don't think I show you in the video, but like, you know, if you know about a snapdragon flower, you sort of squeeze them in a particular way and they kind of open up and they look like a dragon, and yeah, they're pretty cool. So moving further down the garden, I have some bok choy there, which I will probably harvest at a fairly young age, like pretty soon, because yeah, obviously have an issue with things being eaten, and there's another hole, so don't want it to get totally eaten. A much bigger bok choy that I will go out and harvest after this video. And there you go, a baby eggplant on that eggplant. So all the eggplant varieties that I have actually are like really like miniature eggplants, and I've gotten heaps off of them even though the plants have not gotten very big. So excuse me, here I have a cabbage. The heart of it is, it's really nice and firm, but as you can see it gets like really eaten. So I think I will cut that off too, just use the inner part and obviously discard the really eaten part, and yeah, let it maybe sprout back. Got lots of random seedlings in here as well. I think this is going to be a big like wombok cabbage, and this is a really rogue eggplant bush that just kind of lays on the ground. I don't know, but it's got a heap of flowers, so just going to leave that. And keeping on moving along, we've got a tomato growing there. We've got a bunch of flowers. I like to include flowers in the garden for the bees and pollinators and whatnot. Down this end we've got a few more Asian greens, so another one of those wombok cabbages, and heaps more bok choy and pak choy and stuff. And got a bunch of silver beet here, some basil, some other random seedlings. I think I'm going to prune this slightly. Oh, you can see that sucker coming up. The tomato, I just cut that off then, and getting rid of a couple of lower leaves of the tomato as well, just so that it can, you know, grow upward. This is all my silver beet. It's looking pretty good, but again, I'm scared that it's going to get eaten. So this end of the garden doesn't seem to get so eaten, which is another reason I think my problem could be possums, because I expect they come down the wooden fence on the other side, and that's where most of the eating is. So yeah, just going to keep this going. I've got my shade cloth over already, which gives you an indication of probably how hot our summer is, and honestly don't expect the garden to be like so super successful because of the anticipated heat this summer. It's just quite unbearable. With this cabbage, I think this is like a wombok cabbage, I'm just cutting off those underneath leaves because they're obviously quite eaten, and it's a plant that's quite low to the ground, so by breaking off these lower leaves, I'm hopeful that, you know, slugs and things will be less attracted to the plant if they're the ones eating it. Some more tomatoes. They're not doing like so super well. I have a heap more tomato seeds that I'm growing, so hopefully you know, I really hope we can get a lot of tomatoes over the summer. So yeah, that was my shade cloth as well. I've also got this herb garden made out of a pallet, and this has been totally eaten as well. So I mean, some of it is us eating it, but I had this like, that was nice chamomile in the corner which keeps getting eaten. This dill is starting to grow back. One of the like things that I've read about online is possibly putting like mothballs near it, because apparently possums don't like the smell. So we'll see. I'm going to try that and I'll give you an update and see how it goes. This is my worms. I just fed them a whole bunch of yummy pureed food yesterday, and they've all just come up and they seem to be like really loving it. So and a bit of rock melon, and you'll see in a minute that I get a good chunk of worms eating that bit of rock melon, so they obviously like that. And just to finish it off, Pepper playing with her fun little next door neighbour dog Gus, and they have a fun little time. So thanks for watching, subscribe, let me know if you garden, and let me know if you like these videos. See ya!